Hey guys, Spanners Germ 669 aka Adam. I'm here to do another review. Now this is not a horror film, so I apologise to all you horror freaks out there, but I've decided I'm going to do something a little bit different this evening. And I'm going to be reviewing a gangster film. Now this is an independent British gangster film made in 2007, directed by Julian Gilby, and that film is Rise of the Footsoldier. This is a true story. It's a life story about Carlton Leach, who was a legend in the underworld in Essex, England. It's 3 decades of his life. The movie starts out as with him as a teenager in the football hooligan world. So he's raised in a very violent world. He went from being a hooligan, he got a name for himself by how well he fought and how tough he was. And yeah, so he went from being a football hooligan to a bouncer at a nightclub. And while he was a bouncer there, this is pretty much where ecstasy took off in the nightclub scene in England during the rave period. So, yeah, during the raves in England, ecstasy was introduced. So this is around the 1980s or something. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen this film for a while, so I can't remember exactly. It was in the 80s. And so as a result of being involved or being around the ecstasy trade, he becomes involved in the drug world. And so he goes from a bouncer at a nightclub and eventually turns into a gangster and ultimately becomes a legend. I have to say this is a very, very nasty film. The violence is brutal, absolutely ruthless. The language is excessive to say the least. I've never heard the C word used as much as I have in this film. Nearly every sentence has the F word or the C word in it. There's a lot of sex in it, nudity as you would expect, sex scenes, nudity, a lot of drug use. So this is a very nasty film. It is not like your usual gangster films like Godfather, Scarface, Casino. This is much more brutal and this is a lot harder to watch. The acting is very good. In this movie, he becomes involved with 3 drug dealers. Now these drug dealers were real. This is based on a true story. And these 3 drug dealers were absolute maniacs. So they were steroid users, and so yeah, they were steroid freaks, and they suffered from roid rage, which is too much steroid use, and as a result, you become crazy. So these guys were steroid freaks, and they absolutely destroy everyone in their path. They pretty much run the city. Everyone was scared of them. Yeah, just very brutal people, very nasty. There's not many likable characters in this film. The whole thing is set in the underworld, so very seedy place. There are some scenes in this film that you won't forget. I mean, there is one scene in particular. I'm not going to give it away. You're going to have to watch it to find out. But I'll say one word, and that's all I need to say, and that is pizza. So watch the film. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Pizza. That's all I'm going to say. There's a scene where Turkish mafia kidnap a group of men that they believe stole money from them, and they torture them. They jam cattle prods into their testicles. They chop their fingers off with tomahawks. They electrocute them, and one of the Turkish mafia guys bites a huge chunk of flesh out of this guy's neck, and you can see it all. So it is a very nasty film to watch. Also a scene on the back here where they catch a thief and they decide to nail him to the floor. They take his clothes off and nail his hands and his feet to the floor. And they write with his blood on the wall there. This is what happens to thieves. So that's how they dealt with thieves. As I said, very brutal, graphic, especially the end. The end is very hard to watch. Well, not really hard to watch for me because I'm a sick person, but if you're into the more extreme horror, you'll easily handle this. But if you're not into the extreme horror, then you'll find this very difficult to watch. Doesn't really get a lot of recognition. I stumbled upon this by accident. I was in my local video store looking to rent a movie one night, and I picked this up, had a look at it. Sounded pretty interesting. Wasn't expecting much, but I was completely blown away by it, and I had just raced out and I bought it. That's how good it was. I highly rate this film. The acting is good, direction is very good, very, very brutal movie. The language, if you're offended by bad language, do not get this film. If you don't like the more extreme type of violence, don't get this film. If you don't like nudity and sex scenes, don't get this film. And if you don't like drug use, if you don't like, seeing people using drugs, dealing drugs, once again, do not get this film because it pretty much has everything in it. Um, Very, very good film. I highly, highly recommend it. I enjoyed this a lot more than The Godfather and Casino and Scarface. I'm not saying this is a better film, but I enjoyed this a lot more. It is a lot more ruthless. It does not hold anything back. It just goes for it. And I really, really like this director. I'm looking out for future movies directed by him because he's certainly a talent. And I'm really happy I come across this, and I strongly urge you all who are into the more brutal kind of movies to get this one, or at least have a look at it. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure you will like it because it is very, very good. So that's Rise of the Foot Soldier. Highly recommended, especially if you're into the gangster kind of films. But even if you're an extreme horror fan, you like the brutal type of movie, this is definitely one to have a look at. So yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.